A wrestling game, cards flying around, and even an old-fashioned bite from the Suarez table. It was a game that saw it all, but in the end, Captain Diego Gordon's header takes Uruguay to the second round, knocking out four-time champions Italy from World Cup 2014. Good evening and welcome to the Beautiful Game. Yes, life is full of surprises, and the Beautiful Game just saw that with Italy, who looked to be the favourites going into this match, of being sent home packing by a very classic performance from the Uruguayans. Then joining me, of course, Novi Kapadia, Karim Ben Sharifa, two gentlemen not looking very pleased with the way things unfolded on the pitch. But let's get to Novi and Karim. Before that, we take you through our other top stories. Remember, England will fly home with at least a point on board after a completely changed lineup managed to hold group toppers Costa Rica. The Blue Samurai need a miracle to stay alive in the World Cup, and they will have to beat Colombia to have a mathematical chance of going through. And the Elephants need just a draw against Greece to make their first knockout rounds after being drawn in the group of death in the last two tournaments. Yes, let's take you through the results exactly as they happened. Yes, the big game tonight which happened, Italy and Uruguay. Heartbreak for Italy. Yes, the former world champions, four-time world champions are out. They have been knocked out by a goal within the last 10 minutes by Diego Gordon. Uruguay going through. On the other hand, England, the mighty England, or should we say the minnows of the group of death, as a lot of people are having fun on Twitter, they have managed to hold Costa Rica to a goalless draw, which means that England also go out of this tournament. Yes, there are two games to look forward to, but before that, let's take you through what exactly unfolded. Uruguay winning the battle, and we use the word advisedly, battle of former champions 1-0, and sending the four-time champions Italy home. Italy went with their by now familiar 3-5-2 formation, and Uruguay looked all at sea. Chances were hard to come by, and with Cavani marking Pirlo, Luis Suarez struggled to make an impact. Mario Balotelli was lucky to stay on after a high jump that almost took off Christian Rodriguez's head. He was taken off later, but that didn't change anything. In fact, the match started to get scrappier and uglier. Claudio Marchisio saw a direct red card for a studs-up challenge on Alvaro Rios. Luis Suarez, frustrated by a lack of service, headbutted Chiellini and even looked like taking a bite, but the referee did not spot it. As a draw loomed large, Captain Diego Gordon rose and headed home a corner past Gigi Buffon. Cut to a frantic chase in the end as Italy threw the kitchen sink and Uruguay banked on the counter. It ended 1-0 and Uruguay, but through Italy going out in the first round for the second tournament in a row. Yes, let's take a look at the numbers for this game. A lot to be discussed there. Italy enjoying a superior possession of the ball, 55-45. Uruguay, interestingly, had more shots on goal, 14 compared to 9 on Italy. And of course, both look to be relatively on target. But the high point of this match perhaps will remain that 4 yellow cards and 1 red card. And of course, some controversial decisions which we will surely be talking to our guests right away. Novi Kapadia, the disappointment is written large on your face, and of course it'll be so with a lot of Italian fans, fans of Italian football. For the second time in a row, they have been knocked out of a World Cup in this particular group stages. But the manner of defeat, not really the sort of result which people were looking for.
No, it's a disappointment for football fans because football lost out, to use an old cliche. And I think Marco Rodriguez lost the plot. First, to blame FIFA, to have a Mexican referee from a Central American nation in a South American versus European clash, which was always going to be a major battle of attrition, right, considering there were so many explosive characters in this match, was in itself not a very wise decision.
And the referee is known as Shiki Dracula in his hometown in Mexico. So was there something, some superstitious thing which the Italians feared?
Maybe that, but he lost the plot. Now see, if Marchisio got the red card my worry is the refereeing is not consistent. Then also Balotelli, that foul was much more dangerous.
Right.
For studs up, Balotelli nearly took his head off.
What about
then
Suarez? What about Suarez?
Should have had a dismissal for about 3 matches. I mean, this is again the argument coming on that you've got to use not goal line technology, but use technology to get a feedback, because this sets an horrible example to viewers, who are millions who must have watched all over the world.
Right.
What
not the sort of example any parent would like his children or kids to watch and grow up and become footballers like Luis Suarez. I'm sorry. Yes, they have won the match. They possibly ended champions and are going through. Maybe we'll all forget about it maybe 24 hours, but not the sort of example which a player of his class and stature should be setting.
You see, he's again the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde character. There were some brilliant touches. That one shot he took with Buffon saved with his hand stretched out.
Right.
But then he does this, which was a blatant, I mean, either the referee didn't see it or assistant referee didn't point it out. That was also, if that red card had been given, it would have leveled things out.
Right.
Italy can feel they were a bit hard done by.
Right.
Credit, of course, to the Uruguayan spirit for coming back from the brink.
Yeah.
Italy have themselves to blame for getting knocked out of this tournament. The way they played against Costa Rica, that will haunt them.
Yes, a lot of people will have fun. Novi was saying that Uruguay clawed their way back from what looked like an imminent defeat and also bit their opponent. So let's take a look at the group standings for one final time. This is the group of death. Now, who would have thought about this? Costa Rica, but were supposed to be the sacrificial lambs in the group of death. They have topped their group after a goalless draw against the mighty England. So they topped the group with 7 points. They go through as champions of the group of death, Group D. Uruguay, after this win, have got 6 points, which means they go in as the number 2 team. Look at these two. Italy and England knocked out. England, a very, very disappointing game, but we'll come back to England in a bit. But Karim, let's get the statistics rolling, and also let's get the strategy rolling if we could at this point of time. Italy playing 3-5-2 against Uruguay's hard-pressing game. But forget about the goal. It looked very difficult this time for Uruguay to penetrate deep into the Italian system. What happened during the match?
Well, we discussed it before the match. Uruguay came with especially these two dangerous strikers, and Italy came on 3-5-2 system, which allowed these two to move up and still having a control of both. This is Prandelli get it right by employing a back three, but also by putting Pirlo on this holding playmaking role, which oblige, because he starts initially Uruguay came like this, but because he was on this free space delivering some good distribution, the Uruguay Cavani have been asked to do a defensive role to mark Pirlo, and therefore Italy was in control of the game. That's why Uruguay couldn't have, because Suarez was isolated, Cavani, because of Pirlo, came down, and they packed the midfield with 5 midfielders.
Also the fact that Lodero, other than Cavani and Suarez, Lodero has been a very key figure in the way Uruguay builds up their attack. But this time, tonight in this game, he was completely missing on the pitch.
Because normally the system should have been like this, and he should have been on a more advanced position. But because 5 midfielders, if they played like this, Italy would have took control of the midfield. That's why he was obliged to come back, and even Cavani come on Pirlo. I just want to say here, I feel bad for Prandelli, because we talk about coaches that they are responsible of. We talk about Del Bosque and all that. Prandelli did his homework, did everything right, but he was let down by 2 players. Balotelli, he's an important player. He took him out because of that stupid yellow card. And Marquisio had no business going with that challenge and leaving his team with the 10 players.
But Balotelli will be very disappointed, because Karim, we thought all the way your heart beats for Balotelli. But Luis Suarez, yes, whatever he did, we will talk more about that. But Italy, obviously, as Karim says, Novi will have more reasons to feel very, very upset, because they played a very superior tactical game this time. And although all Italy needed was just a draw to survive, they took the fight, they took the game inside the Uruguayan half. That's where they played most of the time. But unfortunately, they concede a goal within the last 10 minutes and it's all over.
It's very difficult to come back when you have 10 men and basically you don't have a striker. Italy's problem in this World Cup is they've tried everybody, Cassano, Cicero, Immobile today. They've tried all the possible strikers, Insigne. Nobody has clicked except that Balotelli goal. and earlier on the long shot by Kandareva.
Right.
Nobody has clicked. I think Italy's Achilles heel has been that they're just not found enough finishers,
Right.
and Balotelli did let them down.
Right.
But coming back to that, if we go back to Pepe's headbutt,
Right.
which would have seen a minor thing compared to what Suarez did.
Right.
So that is my complaint. The refereeing has been very inconsistent.
Right.
You've clamped down on this tackle by Marquisio.
Right.
I mean, Suarez should have had a double red card on
Can
that.
I bring up a point, more serious point, or rather, if I could say, more humorous point, that Italy will be very annoyed with Danny Sturridge, because he should have got Godin sent off in the previous game for that ugly challenge, which he didn't. And today, Godin ends up as the match winner for Uruguay. What do you say, Karim?
Yeah, absolutely. But what people will retain from this match is tomorrow in the headline, nobody will be talking about the tactics of Italy.
Right.
The headlines will be on Suarez,
Suarez, yeah.
trying to
like
bite
Sean?
again. And maybe there will be a proposal that the players against Uruguay should play with the shin. We have shin guards now. We have shoulder guards as well.
But why did the referee not even want to take a look at Chiellini? He ran towards the referee, pointing to his shoulder. The referee wasn't really interested, though.
No, my view is in this, that you see, ultimately it's coming down, should FIFA review such matches? Can you get it in some of the leagues, like in the Premiership? Can there be a punishment after the match? I mean, this is the whole world has seen it. I mean, this is one of probably the most watchable match in the World Cup,
Right.
considering the hype around it.
Right.
So, can that come in now? If FIFA has been resisting technology, they've finally gotten some technology on the goal line at least, and the vanishing spray, because it's the whole image of the game gets ruined. It doesn't matter who's the winner.
Unfortunately for Suarez, he had a bad image,
Right.
but lately he calmed down. We
Yes.
start saying he's mature. He got a great performance against England,
Right.
and now he's back to square one
Yeah.
with
Right.
with this incident. I think he will be in a very difficult situation now.
Right. Finally, as we wrap this up, yes, the heartbroken Italy must be feeling, and of course Prandelli, but very disappointing also to see the way the careers of international careers, at least of the men like Gigi Buffon and Andrea Pirlo, ended. Because look at the way Buffon, as always, he was right there inside the Uruguay box when in the dying moments, trying to help his team level the game. Pirlo trying his best with a superb free kick. These are things which we might not see again at the next World Cup.
No, Buffon had, I mean, if his international career is coming to an end, we're not sure. I mean, he had a glorious match. I mean, he would arguably be the man of the match. I mean, he kept Italy in this game, especially at the end. Pirlo a little subdued, but still played at his best. Italy's problem is up front. They just don't have goal scorers.
Italy do not have goal scorers. But the bigger problem, which seemed to be not only Italy, but also the other world champions who will be shortly boarding their flight from Brazil back to England. Yes, the English team ending their wretched World Cup campaign without a win, as they played out a goalless draw against Costa Rica in their last Group D game in Belo Horizonte. Now the Three Lions, already knocked out after losing their opening 2 matches against Italy and Uruguay, made 9 changes to their side. Coach Roy Hodgson testing his bench out, but not much changed for them on the pitch, as they failed to create any opening in what was a pretty drab affair. The Costa Ricans, reveling in the joy of having already made it to the round of 16, were content with sitting deep. Los Ticos knew that they needed just the solitary point to be assured of the top spot in the group, and they achieved the objective without too much trouble. 0-0 it ended in Costa Rica. Who would have ever imagined, well, finishing as the winners of Group of Death. No, Vigapadia, you must have seen right now, I was raising my hand. I was thinking like Rodriguez, Marco Rodriguez, the man they know as Dracula, man known for not showing cards at controversial things. But the game, Italy versus England versus Costa Rica, a totally different affair. Roy Hodgson making so many changes. Some would say remarkable courage from an English manager, facing so much of fire from the English press, making so many changes. But was this the right place to do it? Yes, you're out of the World Cup, but would you have actually gone out with such a tried and untested side?
Yes, I think sensible. What we talked about earlier, that Hodgson has got the confidence of the FA, Football Association of England, that he'll continue for the qualifiers. And he's also sending out messages, Sanjeev. Joe Hart you can't take your position for granted. I mean, Joe Hart was at times like a cat on a hot tin roof, so vulnerable, you know, so shaky. Wayne Rooney, all this internal mystery, doesn't play for the country. So he's given the younger players a chance. I think it was a fair deal. I mean, he's given them a chance. They also haven't lived up to expectations. But I think very sensible, and he's cocked a snook at the critics who all said he was very conservative. He's been the most radical English coach ever. He's made 9 changes in a World Cup. It'll go in the record books. I don't think any coach ever, in any World Cup has made 9 changes.
Yeah, but it possibly is allowed only to happen in England, where most of the coaches are sacked after such performances far lesser than this. But Hodgson at least is still, is being backed by his Football Association. But Karim, the more inspiring story there is Costa Rica. Their population is lesser than that of Noida and Greater Noida and New Delhi combined together. Yet they have actually knocked out 2 world champions from the group of death. They are into the second round. Of course, they will be on a high. They don't really care. It ended in a 0-0 draw. They will now be possibly getting ready for their biggest game in the knockout round.
Yeah, of course. They should be very proud with the way they handled the situation in this group. They was pressed they was under pressure from the quality teams on the field, and they was also under pressure off the field as well. But they managed to go through all this. What is striking us is now we have many teams from South America qualifying. Costa Rica, Chile, Mexico, 4 teams in today's at Brazil. So it seems like it's a tournament of the South American teams who are showing the way for maybe the what need to do from the European team to go into the highest stage.
From the evidence which we have seen as of now until now in this World Cup, the plot hasn't changed much. Whenever a tournament, a World Cup is held in South America, it's very difficult for the European teams. None of them have actually won a World Cup ever. Will we see a change in that script? On that note, time for a short break, but when we return, we touch on the game coming up later tonight. Yes, it's still wide open in Group C. Karim, still talking about the bite before they get to take their dinner, rather their bite tonight. But before that, more on the beautiful game. Group C also draws to a close tonight, and Colombia, who have already qualified for the next round, will look to end the group stages on a high when they play Japan, who are in dire need of a miracle to go through. This match kicks off at 1:30 a.m. in Cuiabá. Up next, Ivory Coast squaring off against Greece in Group C's last match, knowing that a draw could be enough to seal their progress into the business end of the World Cup 2014. That match too kicks off at 1:30 a.m. from Fortaleza. Novi Kapadia, a quick one on the fortunes of Japan. An Asian team yet to open their account, in the sense that no Asian team has won a game in this World Cup. This is a good opportunity. They might as well, sneak in with a win over Colombia. Colombia already have qualified for the next round. Good opportunity for Japan to do something and step it up.
Good opportunity, but both Japan and Korea seem off-key in this World Cup. Not as good as they were in 2010. The other one, I think Greece could do a Trojan horse on the Ivory Coast. Just getting in a goal and spoiling the apple cart of Drogba and the others. That seems a more dangerous match. Anyone who wins could cross over from Ivory Coast.
Karim, quick one on Ivory Coast. It's a team a lot of people are backing. They want to see them in the second round. They have been playing well. A lot of promise in that team. Not really shining forth brightly at the world's biggest stage, but still there is hope for them.
Yeah, I think so, especially with the team they have. They have a lot of good players, and I think they deserve a chance to be, if they qualify for the next one, it will be great for them and for Africa.
Well, that's what Karim and Novi wish and desire for both Japan and Ivory Coast. In the meantime, let's take you through as to how you can join our conversation. Let's see who all are writing. But Kamal Anand says, Italy bitten and beaten. That's a brilliant one. We'll get Novi to react to that later on. The next one coming up from Skanda B saying, people, please correct me if I'm watching WWE on 10 or the World Cup on Sony 6. I can see more of wrestling than football. And of course, biting, which is not even allowed in WWE. Gabbar Singh says, this match looks like an episode of the Game of Thrones. Well, it certainly does in more ways than one. SK Ahmad 007 says, Luis Suarez should have played for Hungary. Well, Mr. Ahmed, you're having fun with Hungary. That's the land of Puskás, not something which they will surely like. And of course, we have our tweet of the day, which comes from the Football Link. Says, after Spain and England, it's time for Italy to say goodbye. Not sure if World Cup or Copa America at IBN Live at Novi Kapadia. Well, remember, you can get in touch and join the conversation here with Novi and Kareem right now. You can tweet to them at IBN Live with the hashtag, remember the hashtag World Cup. Leave in your thoughts and your questions for both Novi and Kareem right now, who are in the middle of a competition as to who tweets more and who's got more followers. I can certainly tell you Novi is ahead on that count. For the moment, gentlemen, Novi, Kareem, thank you very much. Bite carefully when you have dinner tonight, because we need you back in the morning tomorrow, fresh, up and early, when we get back to the beautiful game. That's it from us then. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.